Hey everyone. In terms of regular topics, let's go ahead and just bring up something that I'm sure not a lot of you care about, but I decided to bring up anyway because I'm bored. When every year there's a good variety of movies that would have to come out. And I don't mean like movies that are out that you can watch. I mean like new films coming out. You know what I mean? Like every year there's a good variety of new films to be released. Well, for this discussion, I'm going to go ahead and analyze that myself because I've noticed how many more movies I'm interested in seeing every year. I remember like back when I was like very young and just getting started to go to the movie theaters to see movies. The only real movies I was interested in seeing were the animated ones. Like remember like back when I was ready to see movies in theaters, I was only interested in the ones that were all animated and shit. So, yeah, I was all for animated movies. And as I went on, I realized, oh, live action movies exist. So I just went ahead and picked out more films my childhood mind enjoys. But now to this day, since I don't really look at just the cute ones anymore, there's a good bigger variety of cool, exciting movies or interesting ones that I want to see. The problem is, I feel like is such a thing as too many. I know that seems hard to think, but in terms of how many movies are coming out each year, I kind of do want to keep a good minimum amount because honestly, I don't know to say it. I just think that you know, I'm getting bigger. There's a lot more things I'm doing. I no longer am gonna be living off of my parents' money and could just go see whatever I want. No longer am I going to be unemployed and without any scholarship or anything. So, because I'm going to have bigger things I'm planning on doing, seeing movies is going to be something I'm probably gonna have to turn into a spare time thing. That said, let me go ahead and bring us a little something topic I want to bring up. How many movies do I want to see every year? Like, do I want to keep a good amount? Because I kind of got more things going on. So, do I want to maybe keep a smaller amount of how many movies that are coming out I should see? That's what I kind of want to bring up. In my personal opinion, I feel like in order to keep a good amount, the best thing to do is to look at how many weekends there are in the year, because weekends are usually the best times for me to get to do things other than worry about school or work. So during the weekends, I get a good amount of spare time. So what I like to do is just see how many weekends there are in each year. I counted for next year. There's going to be like about 51 or 52 weekends in 2025. So, in that reason, I think the best thing to do is to just choose un- either 52 or under 52 movies that are coming out that year and see. I'll just look at how many movies are on, choose up to 52 movies to watch that are coming out that year. And that's what I'll do. Because honestly, yeah, that's a good amount. Since there's going to be about 52 weekends, I can spend those 52 weekends picking out what movie I want to go see. But there is a good chance that some movies I pick I'll no longer want to see, whether it's due to finding out new things about it or learning that the film sucks. So I would just have to take off the interest, and then I get an extra weekend. Or then I'll see there's another movie coming out that I'm interested in now, and I'll go ahead and pick that one out. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. And this is actually something I haven't really thought about until now. Funny enough, I never really planned this part out on how many movies I should go see each year. I only really thought of it just recently. I thought that since there's going to be more going, I should really keep a good amount of where I should when I should go see something. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the amount to how many weekends there are in the year, and just that I'll use to analyze how many movies are coming out that I want to see. So that's kind of my method. It keeps a good balance. I can spend time going out to check something and get to see some enjoyment, while then I could just get other good stuff done. Actually get busy. Don't have to waste all my time talking about random pointless shit on YouTube and actually do stuff that isn't random or pointless. So yeah, for the sake of that, I'm gonna go ahead and just put out on a bare minimum that yeah, for out every year, I'll pick out how many weekends that there's gonna be each year, and just choose a number of movies that I'm interested in and pick from that amount. And if there's a new movie coming out that I'm interested in seeing, then I'll just pick out of the movies I choose, and whichever one I've gotten the least interested with. Because, again, maybe there's something to it that I realize I don't really want to see anymore, or so. Like, for example, the Lord of the Rings anime movie that's coming out. When I first heard about it, wasn't really expecting too much greatness, since I feel like the Lord of the Rings movies don't need to get too much exciting, as they were already amazing as just being a fun trilogy. But I was still interested in seeing an animated adventure with these fellas and just see like what they got going for it. Then turned out it was going to be an anime, and I don't know if I've already expressed this enough with you people, but I don't really watch anime a lot. I know that's a controversial opinion, but I don't. I'm not against anime. I don't hate it, but I just don't really feel in the mood of watching it. The style, the form, it's just not really to my interest. Speak. So that's kind of where that fell in. When I found that out, I realized, never mind. I'm kind of just gonna keep that off my watch list. Speaking of which, guess what I'm going to do for the rest of this video? Since I don't really have much else to say, since you all already get the idea, I'm going to go ahead and share with you all the upcoming movies that are coming out that I want to see, keeping up with the bare minimum number that I've been talking about. So throughout the rest of the year, I'm counting how many more weekends there are for this year. And I'll just pick how many more movies I'm interested in seeing that are coming out. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So might as well just go ahead and share with you all the number of movies coming out this year, along with a good amount of movies coming out next year that are already finished up that I'm interested in watching. So let's spend the rest of the video doing that. I got nothing better to do. So first up, we have Conclave, if that's how you pronounce it. I found out about this movie recently, and there are some things about it that do spark my interest. The overall idea has such a fun little vibe to it. It feels pretty epic, and we even got Ralph Fiennes portraying it. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to argue his name is pronounced Ray Fiennes, but for years I've been calling him Ralph Fiennes, since that's kind of what I got from his name. So is it Ralph Fiennes? Is it Ray Fiennes? Is this tomato? Is this a tomato? Do I exist? Do I not? It's either way, in my opinion. Anyway, the film has a lot of epic things going for it, so I think with all the stuff this movie is portraying and how good I've been hearing for its idea was, I am interested in seeing it because, I'm all for kind of what kind of stuff that there is to it. Crap YouTube posts. I gotta put this off. I gotta get off my notifications. Anyway, I'm interested in what Conclave has to offer. I've seen a lot with what the premise is and who's in it, so that kind of stuff really does make this look interesting. For next up, Saturday Night, a little comedic biopic history film about the very first Saturday Night Live premiere. Of course, we all know about the popularity of SNL, how it's one of the most popular live comedy shows out there. So a little fun comedic biopic, not documentary, but what it is, a history film showing off the very first SNL to premiere and sort of the production to it. It's got all sorts of fun. It's interesting to see kind of how these newer stars are going to be portraying some of the older ones, since young stars like John Belushi or Chevy Chase are not even going to be in this movie, or at least not starring in it as far as I know. So they're just going to be portrayed by real newer actors, which will be pretty interesting to see. My only thing is, there could be a lot holding this movie back. They could do something that the performances, for all we know, could turn out to be not great. Who knows? I'm just hoping that they do tell the story right and that we do get some good performances with these actors. That's honestly all I'm going for. The characters are portrayed good since they are actually real actors, and they actually do explain the stuff really well. Now this one I'm kind of going back and forth with. It's an Apple TV film. I heard that it's going to get a limited release, but if I do get the chance to go see it in theaters, then I'll see it. Wolves. This is one of those films. It has George Clooney and Brad Pitt starring alongside each other. That should be fun. And it's directed by the man who brought us all those Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that people want to say are inferior. I don't know. I think that this movie could actually turn out to have something fun. I mean, for all we know, it's probably not going to be anything that great, but I think that this duo should work nicely, and if the movie stays in theaters long enough, I will definitely find some interest in going to see it. So we'll just have to see what happens. Now this one I have been hearing a lot of interesting mixed things with. The sequel to Joker. I still do want to see it. I mean, I'm scared that it will turn out to be hated, which would suck since the first one was so loved. But I really am hoping I can see it and get some enjoyment out of it. Because, like, this is definitely an interesting thing. It's a new Joker, It's not the same Joker that you see in every Batman movie. This is a newer kind of Joker. Not just by actor portrayal, but by terms of character. This is not the Jack Joker. His name is Jack. I should be scared. No, this is another Joker named Arthur. In this movie, he's teaming up with another Harley Quinn, who's played by Lady Gaga, who seemed like a weird choice for the role, but honestly, I still think that she could pull it off. I'm really hoping they do accomplish some good things because the first Joker movie definitely did a lot to surprise me with how intriguing it was. So I'm hoping this film will surpass me, even if it doesn't surpass anybody else. Okay, here's a little freaky film. I'm all for the scary movies coming out. Heretic is one of those kind of religious horror films starring Hugh Grant, who has been hit or miss the past few years, in my opinion, but hopefully this one's a hit for him, because so far I think Hugh Grant's performance does seem like it could work. So I feel like Heretic should actually have a fun thing to it, and really I'm hoping that I can actually get terrified by his performance and be very intrigued by how frightening it is. I'm hoping for one of those kind of movies, the kind that can scare me but also make sense. That's just what I hope. So here's DreamWorks' most recent movie that I heard is actually surpassing so many expectations, which I'm happy for. Because DreamWorks has been going on a bit of a downward spiral ever since surpassing expectations with Puss in Boots sequel. After that sequel came out, everyone was like, oh god, DreamWorks is doing amazing now. They're going to beat Pixar by a long shot. Then they released movies that bombed, are below great, and then they released the Megamind sequel for Peacock, which everyone bashed. There was also the not so great Kung Fu Panda 4 movie, and yeah, Pixar has won the box office this year, so they seem to have their issues at times. But with all the good stuff I heard about this movie so far, maybe this will work for a good comeback. Maybe they'll make a great comeback with this movie and then fail to surpass it with the next one, but never know. Still, I am interested in it. I was kind of getting confused on where they were going with the idea, but for now, I think I'm actually pretty intrigued with what this has. Now, this is actually pretty surprising for me. Blumhouse, or should I say Bumhouse, for the past few movies, has been doing pretty awful. They released, I mean, after Megan was good, they then made the Exorcist sequel, which sucked. There was the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which to me sucked. Then there was Night Swim, which sucked. They've pretty much just been making pretty bad type of movies. So I was honestly thinking that Bumhouse is just going to be a bummer for the next few years. But if this movie actually does look like it could work for them, this could be a new comeback for the studio. And so far, what I heard, maybe it is. Maybe this really is the Blumhouse movie we've all been waiting for. Maybe I can finally stop taking away the L and call them what they are again. I'll just have to see, because right now I am actually really ready to see it because I find it to actually look kind of creepy. So this one I'm actually still thinking about. I saw the original Smile recently, like last year, and I thought it was good. I got terrified somewhat by it, but I never found it to be one of the scariest, honestly. So I don't know. Will Smile 2 precede it? Will it be scarier? Maybe even. That's just something that I'm gonna have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to see if this Smile sequel will actually be as frightening or even more frightening than the first. Because if it's below frightening, then that's kind of be a problem. But who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy it. I'll just have to see. Is it possible to look forward to a movie that you're not expecting to be good? I am wanting to see this movie, but at the same time, I'm wondering if it's probably going to turn out to be bad. Because, I mean, the Sony has not been doing too amazing with Marvel movies. This year they released Madame Web, which everyone lambasted. And, when Sony isn't putting Spider-Man in something, it seems like they're kind of going random with their movies. So I don't know. This film, maybe it will work out good. Maybe, but I'm kind of going with pretty low expectations. So I'll see it, but I'm probably going to not expect too much good stuff out of it. So this one hasn't really gotten too much of a big following. The promotions for it haven't been entirely interesting. I just saw this movie pull up. I saw a trailer for it come up. I think that this could actually look fun. It's got a creepy kind of vibe to it, kind of the same creepy vibe I've seen in a lot of horror movies this year. So for that reason, maybe I'll get a shot. I guess it really just depends on if the reviews for it turn out good. If they don't turn out good, I might have second thoughts, but who knows? I'm all for the kind of creepy movies, so I could expect something good out of it, maybe. Oh, going the wrong way. Taking forever with this. Robert Zemeckis. He's been doing pretty hit or miss recently. The past few movies he made have not been to the right standards. They've been a little on the below scale, so I don't know. Here, this one has Tom Hanks in it, so that should be fun. And yeah, they also reunite Tom Hanks and was it Robin Wright? Yeah, I think it was Robin Wright returning from Forrest Gump. This, from what I know, isn't actually related to Forrest Gump, but there's a lot of stuff coming from it that'll be here, like Zemeckis directing it and Tom Hanks and Robin Wright starring with it. So yeah, with all that, they could do something good with it. I'm just hoping, like maybe this could be Robert Zemeckis making a good return to the awesome fashion he had in the '90s. But again, gotta wait and see. This one I'm actually have a guilty pleasure in watching. I don't know if this is true, but I wonder how many people are expecting this to look pretty terrible. I think it looks pretty fun. I honestly think that the idea of having Santa be in an action kind of movie is pretty awesome. I mean, we have kind of already seen it with movies like Violent Nights, but I still think this looks pretty fun. So I don't know how many people are think it looks good, but I personally think it looks pretty fun. I honestly am really looking forward to seeing if this movie is to my appeal. Or if it isn't, who knows. This is another movie that I'm probably expecting to suck. At least in terms of the promotions, Gladiator 2 has not really had that much of a great thing going for it. The movie just, I don't know how to say it. The film really just, I don't even think it really needs to exist. The first Gladiator movie kind of ended as its own thing. It felt like it was one of those great movies that felt it was better off with no sequel. But now we're getting a sequel, and man, I don't know what to say because none of the original actors return. I mean, I know not Walking, Russell Crowe's character was killed off in that movie, so it makes sense why he wouldn't return. But none of the other characters from the movie come back. We just have Pedro Pascal, who's appearing in everything now, and there's also Denzel Washington, who I guess is there to make the movie feel more exciting. But the advertising, the marketing for it has not been at the right tier. So I wonder if that's gonna have something to do with how the movie turns out. I don't know. I might still see it, but again, it's low expectations. Okay, this is another film that I haven't seen too much marketing or release wise towards it, but I do. I have a lot of the stuff too. It does relate to my appeal. It's got Barry Levinson directing, which is seems nice, and for all I know, this could turn out to look pretty awesome if there's ever any more trailers or spots for it. If I do see another trailer or TV spot for it, then my excitement will get bigger. But for now, it's just one of those. Looks cool. I could see it. Things. Here we go. The sequel to Moana. A sequel people are going to lambast because they don't want a sequel to it. And me, I'm just going to think, well, are they going to do anything with it? Honestly, there's not much I can say about this. It's a sequel that'll exist. Will they do something to it? We'll have to see. Like Venom, the Venom sequel, low expectations. It's Sony and Marvel. You never know what will happen. Sonic the Hedgehog free. Yes, this is a movie every nostalgia bait person is like hyped for. Me, just as a movie fanatic who likes action films and has a good relationship with Sonic, I am looking forward to it. There's a lot of things the movie is throwing in that I hope they give a good thing for. Like, I hope Shadow's development is goodly pasted so the rivalry between the two will work. I hope that Eggman's random return, will have some benefits to it. I just hope they focus good with it. I feel like the last two Sonic movies have been overhyped way too much by Sonic fans. Like, they look so cool, there's so much action going to them, but then I go see them, I have to witness all the fact that it is still just a kids movie that's also an action film. So I gotta look at this as I gotta remember that this is a kids movie that's also an action film. So I'll see some cool action, but I'll also see a family based story to it. I should not be expecting anything that's gonna be super insane and exciting. It's just gonna be fun, a fun movie for kids to enjoy and some cool exciting action for the Sonic fans in general to enjoy. Screamboat. I'm honestly just gonna probably reconsider this. I mean, I honestly have not much more for it. It's weird. It's when Mickey Mouse first entered the public domain. Everyone was just like, let's do whatever we want with this kind of thing. So then random Mickey Mouse stuff was being put together, and of course, so was a movie. Well, that's about all I got for now. Those are the remaining movies coming out this year, and again, if you counted how many those are the number of weekends that they're going to be. I'm also counting the first weekend of January, since that's usually when December movies are still coming out. So yeah, that's going to be the number. So if you get the idea, then yeah, I just want to share out that I'm keeping a good minimum of movies that are coming out to what I see. And the bare minimum is going to be depending on how many weekends there are in the year. That's my depending number for how many movies I'm going to go see in theaters now. This doesn't connect with at-home movies. I'm not going to be connecting this with the movies I see on Netflix or anything. No. These are just the ones that are coming out in theaters that I base this for. You get the idea? You care? Okay. I know you wouldn't, so just got to get my boredom out of the way.